Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nathan Garrett, Dave Toll next to me, and we are here for the finale of the Voler Tuesday Night Race Series. Voler, along with the Midwele Cycling Club and the Vivid Cycling Club, have put together a series of rides that have everything to do with using the meetups feature in the game of Zwift. They are inviting up to 100 of their buddies in clubs to show up and race each other on different courses with different setups. Tonight, the setup is going to be all about a three-person team with the fastest time to the top of the Alp the Zwift. On the Tour of Fire Ice, it's going to be one lap. They have warmed up for about 14K or so, and they're just getting into turn 2 out on the course. Dave, some big hitters, though, and you know this field quite well out here on course, I think, and splits are starting to take place, it seems like. Hey, Mike, Dave, Mike. I think I got you.
I always turn it off so I don't interrupt you during the music. Sorry about that. Yeah, as always, Nathan, our Voler family is amazing. Brian Trapp is a great dude and does a wonderful job of bringing everyone together. Well, there you go. We'll jump right in with Dave Harward. Dave's one of my favorite guys in our big worldwide cycling family. He lives in Salt Lake City, Utah. He and his wife, Brianne, had a baby just a few months ago. So Dave just became a father. I don't know if he's a dirt rider, dad's inside riding on trainers, Nathan. I think they'd take him, don't you? Looks pretty strong to me.
Everybody that is a dad inside riding on a trainer, it counts and qualifies. Now, I don't know if they're going to take him in on the team, but we'll have to wait and see. But he qualifies.
He's technically a dad, yes.
He qualifies as a dad inside riding trainer 100% then. I do have also, I just want a quick little shout out. We see him out on course here, but Brian Trapp from Voler, and he is hanging out in a Discord channel with us. I'm just going to unmute him here real quickly and jump in with Brian just to have a little conversation about how the series has gone so far and everything, and what the aims were with all this. Brian, are you there with us? I just want to see if we could grab you for just a second to have a little chat here real quick, as I see your avatar has pulled over on the side of the hill.
Yeah. Hey, here, guys. How's it going?
Doing well, doing real well. And yeah, we got you 100%. And Brian, you're head of marketing over at Voler, and it's been a really great series so far. You want to just talk a little bit for those who might be new to the viewers out there about what the aims are with this and how the series has gone so far, and how Voler has put all this together with all these teams out here.
Yeah, absolutely. So this started about 2 months ago, when our clubs Midwele and Vivid Cycling, which are run by a couple of other out of Utah, Midwele, and on the central coast here of California is Vivid Cycling, and they had a meetup just like this. And so we started talking about how can we put together something similar. And then the world changed, and that's when we kicked this into high gear. We wanted to give everybody the chance to get together somehow, when otherwise it's just not safe to do so. And the Tuesday Night Race Series was started. And I got to say, there were a couple of big teams that jumped out and immediately, enthusiastically jumped on board. And that was Tibco with Linda Jackson. She has been a huge supporter of us, and she's done an amazing job with Janelle Crooks and Lauren Stevens and Charlotte Lucas. So those gals have been hugely supportive over the course of this last 5 weeks. And then we have our Voler factory racing teams and gravel and road and Sakari and just so many that have come out in huge support of us. And so what we've enjoyed the most, though, is gathering everybody together as a community. And it has been an absolute blast, more fun than we could have imagined. So I can't thank everybody enough, Stuart Anderson and Calvin, and then you too, Nathan and Dave. It's just been a real gas for us. So we're pretty excited about this. It's our last night, and we still have just a ton of great folks out here racing.
Yeah, got a big climb ahead of them still. They're on turn 18 at the point, heading into turn 17. And we're looking at Lally Stevens, Laura Stevens, Matt Stevens just ahead, still chasing him down. And it looks like Lucas is right there along with him. So, this is going to be some times we're looking to break here. Well, I wish I had their best times up and over the top, or if they've done it before. We'll have to try and find out if they've done these before. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing these, and a very cool way to, the talking point has been using these meetup events to create mini games to push the platform and have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, that's right. And that's. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just jumping in because I thought maybe you had moved on. I thought maybe your family was jumping in there with you, Brian. Brian, it has been awesome. I really appreciate everything you've done to help keep this community going. This has made a big difference out here over the course of the last few weeks. I know I really look forward to it. And I certainly would have to say, as we're watching Lauren Stevens right here, that she and her husband, Matt, it's really cool that they're part of your Voler family. This is the #1 power couple in American cycling right now. I think the Allisons, Whitney and Zach Allison, who are good friends with the Stevens family, that it's really cool to see a husband and wife both riding at such an incredibly high level. So, yeah, thanks for all you do, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Matt. Yeah, Matt came. He's not officially on a 3-person team tonight, but he said, I just want to come out and I want to ride. And so, or Lauren got in touch, and so I said, absolutely, you can be the rabbit out in front for us to chase. And so they've been enthusiastic. Same with Cass Kenda.
It's not often that you have a situation where a Dirty Kanza winner is riding on his wife's coattails to get into the group ride, right?
That's right.
But Matt is an awesome guy. It was really, I live in Fort Collins, Brian. We had them here for a Fondo, the FOCO Fondo, which I'd highly recommend. Actually, the Allisons helped put that on. And they're just good salt of the earth people at the end of the day. They both, they have alternate personalities that they use when they go to these, the non-serious races. Lauren has been at the World Championships. She's won Winston-Salem. She's a through and through an established pro, but when they show up at the Fondos, they bring their sense of humor, and they have these jean vests that they wear. And while they were out riding last year, we have plenty of time, Nathan. This is about an hour climb, right? So I can tell a story, I think.
Oh yeah, plenty of stories. Bring them on.
So it's one of those really nice Fondo starts. The sun is rising here in Fort Collins on a beautiful summer morning, and as they roll out, one of the riders reaches out to give me a high five, and I'm into it. I reach out to high five back. This is pre-COVID-19. I probably won't be high fiving anymore. But so as I high five him, I knock my coffee cup over, and it spills coffee all over the table. Luckily, Lauren's vest is unscathed, but Matt's vest took the hit. It pretty much took an entire cup of coffee and absorbed it into the vest. And I was like, oh boy, I don't know Matt. I've only really met Matt a couple of times in my life, in real life at that point. So I don't have a bro relationship with him, and I've just destroyed this vest, I'm thinking. So I hop on my little cruiser and zip to my condo and throw it in the wash. And I'm thinking, oh man, because it wasn't like the vest had a huge value as far as, it wasn't a $500 Calvin Klein vest, but it obviously had sentimental and spiritual value to the Stevens. They both have their vests. They're embroidered. So luckily all of the coffee washed out. So now Matt might be wondering why his vest smelled like coffee.
Do you see the power up that just got popped there? You see the power up that just got popped here by Stevens. Now, the interesting thing, you guys, if you didn't know, there's different sections out on the Alpe d'Huez Zwift. For those of you just tuning in, you've never done the Alpe d'Huez Zwift, power ups are on when you go and do the Alpe d'Huez Zwift a lot of times, depending on the meetup, depending on the event, or if you just go and you climb it. And the Alpe d'Huez Zwift, when you enter it, it's like its own challenge on Zwift, where as you start climbing it, you can grab a power-up at each one of the little ride-on signs on the course. So I am looking at Eric Hill on one of our feeds, and he just went by that little ride-on just behind him here. And up on his screen, what will show up as you're heading toward that ride-on is a little countdown, and that countdown is actually based on the best time that you've had recently. I can't remember exactly, or some sort of percentage of time that you've had recently that you have to beat. So it's essentially making you do like 80% or 90% of what it knows that you can possibly do. So you have to push yourself if you want to power up out on the Alpe d'Huez Zwift. It's another way that this mountain just tries to torture you. But
awesome.
You can gain some speed. And then you're like, okay, I need an arrow or a feather. And then it gives you the burrito or an experience. And you're like, are you kidding me? Like, I worked all that to get that. But yeah, it's a great little setup there. But yeah, it's good stuff out here.
Yeah, let me run through our teams since we have the time today. We've never had the opportunity to do this before. I have to say, I believe it's Sam Waterford. Brian would know. But Sam Waterford fills out forms the same way I do, because in his first name it populated pedal to the finish, and his last name populated as White. But he's from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, Nathan. So I think that's where the White came from. And the pedal to the finish is his team, or no, actually that's his email name. So Sam, I can relate, dude. I just did my taxes online. So Clayton Chase and Craig Lampert are, as I have it, on the team here with our man Sam. And then the next squad in all these 3-rider teams as they're here is this Alpe de Zwift, exactly replicating the Alpe d'Huez, which we've all come to know and love from the Tour de France. We have another team with Dana Breeden, Jim Croak, and Anna Ortiz. Good luck, riders. The third team I'll call out here, Chuck Komoliak, Cindy Copley, and Jason Thurber. Excuse me, I must be off now. Actually, you know what, Nathan? I don't know that I have all of my teams exactly right, because I see Jason Thurber and Andrew Thurber are out here with us. Tim Sipple riding today, Ali Mrugel, Jen Malik, and Nikki Peterson. That's cool to see. The Kenda ladies, that's another one of the Voler teams that I'm sure Brian Trapp is super proud of. Those ladies represent at a very high level. We then have, you mentioned Eric Hill, Matt Zimmer, and Dave Harward. They're the group, Zach Gregg, Eric Hill, and Matt Zimmer are the Project Echelon boys. Dave Harward, Jeremy Osler, and Zane Miller representing that Plan 7 team. Bunch of good guys out of Utah. We then have Zev Cam, Maya Austin, and Tom Roby, Tyson Weiland, Matthew Moan, Paul Halterman, Charles Adams, and then let me jump into the hitters here. Charlotte Lucas, Lauren Stevens, and Janelle Crooks. That's the Tibco SVB team, the mighty, mighty Tibco team. Once this COVID-19 thing is over, they are going to be ripping up the rest of the season. Can't wait to watch that. Always good to have you here, ladies. And then Robert White, Brigham Daleboot, Ethan Lawrence, David Christensen, and Kyle Kirby. Nathan, that's everybody we have out riding with us today.
Good group out here. Plenty, and they're scattered along the Alpe d'Huez right now, that's for sure. You can see on the right-hand side, as I change the mini map here, each one of the little red dots are going to be those that are in the meetup. So they are just completely annihilated. I mean, we're not going to have a pack, really. It's going to be these little punches that you see here. You see how Lucas just gave a little bit of a turn of the pedals here, kind of gave a little rev there for a second to get back to the wheel, because it's so important. There is a little bit of a draft you do get as you hit each one of these sections, but then it bumps into this 11%. It doesn't matter quite as much. You need to match that. It does look like Stevens here is starting to really turn the screws, put the hurt on her teammate here, Lucas, who's just trying to hold on to the wheel. Now back into 4-4. Lucas here really in the hurt locker, it seems like right now, as she looks to jump back onto the wheel here. Sakari, it looks like a little bit different story here. A lot of times Sakari's been pretty tough team here. Getting dropped off by the Tibco girls here, as you can see. S. Diesel here a little ways back. Lawrence there from Vivid Cycling, as well as Harward right on the wheel there in the green jersey. So this is the current situation there on turn 12, going into turn 12 and into 11 here. This is one of the steepest sections. You can see if they're the steep sections or not with those dark red dots. The really dark red dots are the ones that are getting into that 7 to 11%, right around those gradients. The yellow ones are going to be a little bit lower, obviously down into that 3 to 5, 6%. And obviously the orange is right in between there from 5 to about 8%. I'd say on average. So really difficult sections here that they're coming through. You know, the way that a lot of times you climb this is the first four turns you can gain a lot of time. So you really rev it up over threshold a little bit, back it off through 14 and 15, and then give it again right through that up until 7. Then up through 5, you can see that this long little section here in the upper right-hand corner that's just a steady yellow 5-6% gradient. You can kind of get into almost what feels like a flat rhythm at that point because of that. And I mean, it's not flat at all, but you can get into a better rhythm actually through there. Back off, bringing it under threshold or around threshold. And then as you get into turn 4, 3, 2, 1, then it's just kind of VO2. What can you handle for 10 minutes really or so? So interesting to see what kind of times we're going to pull here, though. The pros with Ineos at the World Tour, we saw them pulling somewhere around a 38 to 42-minute climb. We'll see if something like that can be done even close.
Yeah, that was Rowan Dennis that won when the entire Ineos squad split up into they had multiple it was like an inter team scrimmage that they had out there. We were just watching Ethan Lawrence. He's out of San Luis Obispo. A lot of riders with us, Nathan, call San Luis Obispo home. I think it's just incredibly cool what Midwelle and Vivid have done. So with the way these two clubs interact and have been able to join together for this Tuesday night Voler ride. We're now picking up Mr. Zimmer here. And Nathan, thanks a lot for jumping around. We'll be spending a lot of time on this climb. But Matt Zimmer, Project Echelon rider. Project Echelon. Now, Matt is 16 years old. Nathan, did you know that? This is a 16-year-old we're looking at right now.
I think he was a pickup recently, too. I do see some of their announcements. I do follow them. I mean, they're local. They kind of came out of so old school. I mean, I've known Eric Hill, who's the manager over there, since high school, almost high school. And, I've been riding Saturday morning dock rides with him for years upon years. Rode for LAPT back in the day here. That's a local, local club, super strong, now it launched. That then became, I believe it was, I want to say Wild Honda, and then from there it turned over to, or at least Wild was one of their sponsors, and then turned into Project Echelon. I'm not sure if Project Echelon is still associated there with Wild, but really, really cool, to see them out here. What they're up to, I sent you a link just now, but Project Echelon, they educate, equip, and empower veterans and their communities through physical activity and self-discovery, actually. So they're a nonprofit, and their team is all about raising awareness for veterans, as well as charitable funds through physical activity, self-discovery. Very cool team. Love what they're up to. And Eric Hill, very hard worker, who's out there really. The other side of it, though, is that I see a lot of pickups with them of the up-and-comers when it comes to this youth, U23, or just new elites into that pro Conti scene in the North America scene. So I do see them getting some pretty cool results on that front as well.
I think that was Eric Hill that we're looking at that just joined Matt Zimmer here, Nathan.
Just behind, actually, here. So the young boys dropped the old man, it looks like. About 52 seconds back for Eric at this point.
As it will happen.
100%.
So, don't sleep on Wisconsin, folks. That's where my friend Nathan is located. But there's a tremendous amount of love for cycling there. That Toad series every summer.
Tour of America's Dairyland. For those of you, it's not about frogs, actually, just so everybody knows.
That's a good point. I'm using my shorthand, Nathan.
Are we in Arizona? Like, what's going on here with the toad thing? But Tour of America's Dairyland is what that's all about. And we've got lots of cows and a lot of milk and a lot of cheese, as well as beer coming out of this part of the world. So it's a great time and a great tour for a couple of weeks where we go to a lot of the cities and host a lot of crits, as well as a couple of road races through some beautiful Kettle Marine area, actually, with a lot of great terrain and woods, actually. Really beautiful time, and that's definitely where this Project Echelon is going to be focusing. If we do get a Toad series at all this year, I haven't seen any announcements about what's happening with that, but definitely going to be their stomping grounds.
Yeah, so you get a really nice look there at the switchbacks that make up Alpe d'Huez. I think it was incredibly cool that the game designers and the coders were able to create this. Nathan, when they unveiled Alpe to Zwift, this was received by quite a few Zwifters with a lot of anticipation, I should say. Looking for this kind of extended climb was something that I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. So this format, you can see, that gradient at 10% right now. It's a slog to get up to the top. When you think about Rowan Dennis, I mean, he absolutely throttled this entire climb. Getting up this in less than 40 minutes, that's bananas. No doubt about it. We're going to be
bananas. 6 watts plus per kilogram, I think it was, all the way to the top. We're actually going through Dutch Corner here, which they did replicate in game here, which is pretty cool. It's going to this climb also, if you get to when you get to the top, you get a prize. So you unlock either a helmet, gloves, or the Mellenstein wheels, or I believe a big chunk of XP. The Mellenstein wheels are the lightest wheels in the game. They are the light wheel. You can't get lighter wheels. So once you have those, they become your climbing bike setup, essentially. So that, alongside whatever's the lightest frame, is what you use on climber courses. So it took me 27 times. For some reason, the coders didn't like me. Yeah, people get it on the first time, second time, third time. I had to do it beyond. So there's an achievement in game called the Masochist Achievement. and it's 25 times to the top. I had to do it 2 extra beyond being a masochist just to get my wheels. So definitely seen.
Well, they
the
got your
likes of this
number,
thing.
man.
They got my
Yeah.
number, that's for sure.
Going back to Lauren Stevens here, riding through the snow, which I don't know that I guess it does snow in Texas. Not much, that's for sure. Lauren and her husband, Matt, live in Dallas. And Lauren, into her 7th season, I believe it is this year with the Tivco squad. She's I'd say the cornerstone of the team at this point with her experience and just an awesome attitude. Lauren's parents should be very, very proud of the young woman that they raised, because this is exactly, in the world of cycling, what you're looking for as an ambassador for this sport. Lauren keeps it classy all the time, besides being just a massive engine, as she has proven year in, year out. So, Nathan, let's see. I guess I'll make it easy. Lauren is crushing it. That's Calvin Harris, our friend Calvin.
I think amongst the women here, Calvin's who's crushing it. And I think Lauren is, I believe, in the lead amongst the women right now. But we do have some leaders here up at the front. And I just wanted to, I'm jumping around. It's hard with the leaderboard currently we only get 3 on the group riders nearby. But Project Echelon has shown up, and they are currently off the front with 2 riders. It is going to be Zimmer as well as Greg. And they're going into turn 6 right now, actually. So great shout out there, Calvin, with that question, keeping us on track there. 115 back is going to be Eric, and he has Sakari looking to chase him down with Moen just behind him. So, but it looks like Project Echelon has shown up on the day to show that they've got the power here to throw down on the Alpe d'Huez. And I'm pretty sure that this team is going to take down the chocolates at the top, as the Aussies would say. So we'll see if 115 to go to the front here for Eric Hill. We'll see if he can catch up with his boys here as they go up into turn number 6. So a little ways behind, though, it's going to be Stevens. Lauren Stevens, I believe, is going into turn number 8. There is a couple of riders. Now, we're going to have to use the little dots on the right-hand side of the course here as we see Lauren coming into the camera view. You can see the people that one avatar she's chasing. That's going to be Waterford, the Waterford rider. I believe that's going to be one of the White brothers, if I'm not incorrect. Just rounding around turn number 8 there, just ahead.
Now that makes sense. So the White brothers, right? Waterford. Now I'm getting it.
Waterford Bicycles out of Wisconsin. Right. There you go.
Right. That's good old Richard Schwinn, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. I believe that's right. I believe that's right. I'm not 100%. There's a whole lot of background of the cycling world and business cycling world there that goes way, way back, all the way to some Trek.
Don't even worry
Trek
about
history,
it. Believe me.
Trek history. Wow.
So when we talk about the format here, this is I guess it was probably 4 weeks ago that we used this 3 riders per team, combining, adding all of the times together, and that's how we'll sort out the winning squad. It is a little bit tough with the timing and the scoring with these events, especially with the unique formats that we have. This is from Down Under. Charlotte Lucas here, another one of the powerhouses on that Tivco SVB team. It's always fun for a brand like Voler, Nathan, to have an interest in the pro peloton. It's a lot more fun to go to an event like Tour of California when you have a team racing, and it's extremely cool. The feedback that you get from the pro racers goes a long, long way when it comes to product and design. They're always going to be aware of the latest trends, and they can really help you with the fit, form, and function of what you're doing. So taking a look at Charlotte Lucas here is just awesome when you make your way up this climb.
We're seeing Josh Bogolowski coming on through and saying, my Project Echelon family, love them and what they have done for me and other veterans. Thanks a lot for jumping into the comments here. We also see one of the esports team managers here, Patrick Mahoney, jumping in here, actually. Says, there's an Evo guy sitting on the couch. Good to see you there, Patrick, and thanks for hanging out on the couch with us today. Rick Dalton coming in and bringing in some comments as well. Whoop, whoop, Nathan and Dave bringing us some excitement on a Tuesday night. Rick, thanks a lot for hanging out with us in the chat. Calvin shouting out to Zane Miller saying, go on, Zane. Go, Zane, go. So good to see that, as well as a little bit of Twitch chat coming on through here as well. Good to see people hanging out on Twitch as dang, Matt is pushing some serious watts, as he was talking about Matt Stevens earlier. So great to see everybody hanging out. If you want to bring your questions or comments into the chat, you got questions about Alpe d'Huez, questions about Zwift, questions about the broadcast, questions about, I don't know, what we ate for dinner, go ahead, bring it on through, and we'll let you know how things are going here in Wisconsin, as well as with Dave over in Colorado, and a look at the pain that's happening here on the broadcast. We do have Team Tibco SVB in a Discord, so if you do want to bring any questions through, and if we do see any that do make some sense, we'll go ahead and bring them in. I believe we've got Lauren and a few others in chat over there, so we'll make sure to hold those if there's any that do come through and make sense. So now we do see it does look like Lucas still hammering away, though. 3.5 watts per kilogram, 21.1 K in. Going in. This is that more. I know it doesn't look steady, but this is the steepest part of this section, but it's going to level out again. This is kind of a long turn 7 to 6 is, this section is kind of where I'm like, all right, I've gotten into my rhythm and I kind of refocus here. At least that's how I climb this thing. And you kind of find that like, all right, this is the last third of this climb where I really need to find some extra power, maybe take on some sugar even at this point and get some drink in and then give it another go because only about 5 turns after this.
White, one of the top criterium racers, master criterium racers in the country, is last year dominant for us with Charlotte Lucas right on his wheel. That's White that we're looking at in the orange jersey there. We were just talking about their home state of Wisconsin. And Charlotte Lucas, again, one of the riders. It's been such an honor to have Tibco joining us, Nathan, each week out here. They've been incredibly consistent as well. I would say that we've had Lauren and Charlotte with us every single night that I've been here, at least. So
I think they've shown up every night of the series. Actually, I think they've made this like Crooks a part of their. Yeah, I think it's a part of their training program now at this point. Like I think it's been a big boost to their. I would think to that. We have to ask them about that. Like, has this been good training? I think they're suffering out here today.
Well, it's interesting you talk about accountability. Most pros don't really need accountability. If you've gotten to that level, you've shown that that's a skill that's in your skill set. But I think that there's maybe Brian Trapp could talk about community and the fact that these women just like each other. They enjoy the contact that they have. Their team director, Rachel Hederman, right now is in Asheville, North Carolina. She's awesome. I've always been so impressed by the way she keeps a smile on her face, but so professional. You might have known the United Healthcare team. She ran that team for quite a while. She's the only, so Rachel Hederman, who's directing actually joining us here tonight with the Tibco team now, she is the only woman who's ever been the director, the lead director sportif, they call it in the sport, of a men's team at let's say a monument, a World Cup level race, as she directed United Healthcare's men's team when they were at Milan San Remo. That is a feather in your cap, believe me. I would have to say that she is one of the underappreciated characters in the sport of cycling in North America right now as well. But you know what it is? She quietly does her job very well and stays away from controversy. Nathan, a lot of times it's people like that you don't hear much about because they stay out of trouble.
Yeah, that's for sure. Behind the scenes, and it's usually those who are doing a ton of work behind the scenes that don't get into the limelight, for sure. That's a great shout out there.
I'm going to put her in the good limelight, Nathan, the kind of limelight that we all want, where someone says, "Hey, Rachel, you do one hell of a job." No doubt about it. Hey, I see Blake Anton. Let's talk about another community leader. Blake Anton is out here with us, riding with Kyle Kirby and David Christensen there. Blake just did a COVID-19 lockdown triathlon, Ironman distance at home there in San Luis Obispo last week. So
that is that is like huge.
Yeah, not quite like Timothy Rugg, who took it to a whole other level. People still talking about his virtual race across America on Zwift. Blake is not certified insane. He just had to get out of the house. That's a tongue-in-cheek statement, Timothy.
We're looking through here, and just real quick, a couple more shout-outs as Jeff Duncan comes on through in chat and says, "Hey, Dave, greetings from Colorado Springs." Thanks a lot, Jeff. We have seen you in the chat quite often, and long-time viewer. Appreciate you very, very much here. Calvin saying he's shouting out to the VCC boys, and we do have Ethan Lawrence, I believe it is, from VCC, hammering away here, giving a shout-out to his boys. He's got Brig, Ethan, and Travis hammering away out there from VCC. And then a Go Jen Malik coming on in as well from Manny Saddles, it looks like, over on our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for all the shout-outs and comments as they do come in over on the different streams that we are putting out on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, as well as Mixer and Twitter. just a quick little shout out there. If it's not too much about it, hit that follow button or subscribe and turn on your notification bells. And we'll be able to throw you more content with Zwift almost on a daily basis here. So still it's here, though, 4.2 as he goes into turn number 5. The red dots are what he's chasing. The other ones are just other riders out on course that you can see throughout your meetup. But a couple more minutes to go through, and it looks like going into the last turn, Zimmer, the youth that you were talking about here, how old did you say Zimmer was? Because he's pushing 6.2. 16 years old, 6.2 watts per kilogram here into the final turn. What kind of time is he going to pull here? 185 beats per minute, Project Echelon. Hammering.
He's at 3.2. He's at 3.2 watts per year right now. This kid is an outstanding job by man. I wanted to mention Jen Malik as well, Nathan. That rider out of Columbus, Ohio, is a big talent. Jen, a student at Ohio State University, I think she was getting her PhD. She's a brainiac as well, but a very talented cyclocross racer and gravelier. So always good to have Jen out here.
Racing, cyclocross, it's the same thing. I mean, they're not too much different. Right? I mean, you just pretty much go full on in that anyways. From the gun, fighting for that first corner. So not much of a difference, I think, there, as we do get Ayimedi here at 185 beats per minute from Zimmer. But shout out to Malik for sure there. Wondering about this, the reality of this final little climb here, though, Dave, this is probably the most I've ever suffered on a bike, is this part right here, this 8%, looking for this and then you think it's done, and it's not done. There's another 11% kick. You can see Zimmer here, 186. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to grab a couple more beats, as you do see him heading toward the final banner here. And now you need to not let up if you want this few extra seconds you can get from some speed. This is going to be an amazing time. We're going to have to wait and see if it does populate. He is digging in. Going to move backwards here to his teammate. I'm going to bring the leaderboards up here so we can see exactly how things played out as each one does cross the line. 30. What? Are you kidding me? Greg here across the line, 35-37. These are crazy times happening here.
Wow.
Eric Hill now making his way to the top here at 4.6. Whew. We're at a whole nother level here, coming in from these boys here, and Eric Hill's eyebrows are going to be raised up here a bit, I think, from Greg and Zimmer's effort here out on course.
Holy cow! Rowan Dennis's eyebrows are going to be raised up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see.
Look for an email.
We'll be looking for an email from Team Ineos here in just a few minutes. Right. They may need an upgrade. Look
for the name Brailsford, Dave Brailsford in the subject header. That's the director there. He wants you on the team.
4.8 now 5.1 as Eric gets into his final kick here to the top. You're looking for about a 40-minute, I think. 40, probably going over a little over 40, 4.2, 40, 42 maybe. I think it's going to be to the top for him. Making a little bit of a guess at what I've seen coming from him. If you climb between 5.3 to 5.5, and I think he's been around there. I think he's fading here toward the end, so maybe closer to a 43, but still really good effort here coming in from Eric Hill as he makes his way to the top now. As the leaderboard does populate, we'll be waiting for the times from each one of the teams. Now, again, everybody, these meetups, they are just for fun. I just want to throw that out there. Like these, we're out here, new game modes. It's about the workout. It's about the community. It's about getting together out on course. It doesn't have the stringency as well around what we would see in a lot of the Zwift esports. So more of just getting out here, jumping in, having fun in the game. So definitely getting the best workouts that people possibly can amongst the competition.
Yeah, if you win here, you can't put it on your race resume. Actually, it doesn't quite count for right.
A little bit different though from what we do have going on with the Redlands, in the NRS series, as well as a lot of that's going on with the 3R, as well as the USA Cycling League that we got going on Wednesdays. So, those meetups, as well as some of the more community-focused races. It's kind of jump in, have fun. We want to be as close as we can with verification, but at the same time, that's a lot of work. So at the higher end, at the tiered ends, that's where things really start getting serious. So now we are looking.
If we can't do this on the if we can't do this on the honor system here, then you might as well forget about the honor system, because everybody with us, Nathan, is part of the Voler family. So we'll keep it on the up and up, I think, no doubt about it.
100%.
This would be like beating your brother in checkers and cheating along the way. You couldn't feel good about that, could you, at the end? So I think that's not a problem that we have with this group as we pick up Lawrence right now. We've been out here riding, actually, they've been out there riding, Nathan, I should say, for an hour and 2 minutes now. It's pretty amazing when you think about this is almost 8 miles with about an 8.5% average grade. That is nuts when you think about in real life or on Watopia, what it's like to get to the top of the climb. This is the climb that many folks have been using, seeing more and more folks Everesting, Nathan. And this is the climb to use for sure.
It is the climb to use, and we've seen tons of folks Everesting, which I just personally do not understand. No, I cannot get my head around that accomplishment. I mean, it's an amazing accomplishment, but me doing it, for some reason I'm a climber too, but I'm a climber for 2 hours. I'm good with a 2-hour all-out effort, or maybe a stage race, with a bunch of climbs in the middle of it, 5-hour day, cool, but like. We're talking 11 hours over and over again. I saw Greg Henderson the other day. He said,
I saw that.
I wanted to jump on, and I just started climbing, and I was like, what's this all about? And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it. Well, why don't we just do an Everest? And he ended up Everesting. He showed up, and it was one of those days where he just wanted to keep pedaling, he said. And he got so far into it, he was like, well, I just have to complete this now, it said in his post. But he was unprepared and didn't realize how deep you had to go for it. Didn't bring any fuel, didn't fuel up front for it really. Had to go to the fridge a whole bunch of times, but said he was so far behind on fueling that he went to one of the darkest places he's ever been on the bike. So Everesting, no joke, out on this Alpe d'Huez that people are really specifically using this for. Where else would you do it? The only thing is the downhill. They need like some sort of a ramp that you could just like huck off the side and go down.
Like the way you go.
Like just
right?
jump.
Like
Woo!
in London. Like, what the perfect example though is London, where when you leave the inner city to head out to Box Hill, they have that kind. You go down into the metro station, and it's sort of you.
I was
you leave
thinking
one
like you
world
jump
and
on a
enter another.
snowboard and then like jump off. And then
Good idea.
That'd be something a little more fun, But
so you're saying just so you can keep, you don't want any downhill at all, just so you can keep stacking up the vertical
so
gain
like you don't
would.
You can take your free time if you want to, but if you want to just get to the bottom and go back up, boom, just jump off the helicopter ramp or something, like kind of a thing.
So Nathan, we have a couple riders finishing here. Halterman, they are about 50 meters or so from the arch. That's going to be a nice feeling. Done and dusted. Never sounded so good, did it?
Next one across the line here, we see Halterman. 38 minutes is going to be there for Hill. It looks like 41 for the Sakari rider there, as you can see. Smart Honda now. It looks like Dale Bout from VCC.
Look at this Project Echelon, Nathan, with 2 riders in that mid-35s. They're going to be an awfully hard team to beat when you consider that what we're doing here is adding up the 3 riders' times. Good job, Project Echelon. Well, there you go. I mean, that's unbeatable. A 35-30-25, a 35-37, and a 38-41 for the win, I'd have to say.
They're seeing some Dale Bout here. Brig coming on through for VCC. Then Wyland from Sakari as well, just behind him. But Brian letting us know Blake Anton from Voler Factory Racing just Everested on Saturday. So he might be a bit tired. So Anton, if we see him out on course, we'll definitely give him an extra ride on, everybody, because definitely seen plenty of the Alpe d'Huez, and now doing it again here on a Tuesday night after 8 times over just the other day. So solid efforts coming from him, obviously, on Zwift.
Blake is the team captain for the Voler Factory squad. They've already been racing this year in real life. They were down in Central America. Unfortunately, now with COVID-19, they're on a little bit of a hiatus until they can get back out there again. But it's a really strong team. There's depth on that squad. And in the new era of professional road racing in America, teams like Voler are going to become more and more apparent. You're going to start seeing them as we watch another one of the Sakari riders finishing. This is going to be Moan. Sakari Lone Wolf coming across the line here. Nice surge there Emptying out the tank across the line as we punch out. That's going to be White coming through with Crow. Actually, this is the biggest group that we've got on the mountain right now, Nathan. Charlotte Lucas, we're watching here. Charlotte's going to bring it home. Good work out there, Charlotte. Hup, hup.
Yeah, and last little bit of a dig here. This, again, like I said, this is the section that hurts the most, in my opinion, as you are looking for those, you do almost a 45-minute effort or so at this point for her, and then at the end of that 45-minute effort, you got to find some sort of extra VO2 in that tank, that little bit of extra nitrous oxide, and really, really push it here. Waterford trying to hang on, it looks like, and not able to quite grab onto the wheel, as Lucas here comes over the top in just a second. Now, this is a little deceptive section as well, because it levels out on you just for tad to that 8%, and then it kicks again for that final little tad bit of a couple of meters before you hit that last 300 or 300 meters to go here. You see it's 9%, and then it's really deceptive, actually. We get into 10% here then, and you think, you can't, if you get a first-person point of view, actually, you almost can't see that there's another kick coming, so you think this is the final kick, and it tricks you. You get over the 11%, and you just hate it. You're like, oh, are you kidding me? We got to go again as it backs off a little bit here, 361 watts. She's really giving it here, 6.8. As you can see here, 5.4 watts per kilogram. It's a huge effort here. One more kick, going to be looking for that speed, and the speed really matters. If they jump over this little kicker here, whether or not you come over with 350 or 200 watts matters. Now you see orange numbers up and out of the set. 12 watts per kilogram here. Woo! As now we see the speed coming through. And that matters. See that speed coming through? This could be 13 rather than 23. And that's seconds that are really valuable.
What you just witnessed right there is heart, and that's why Charlotte Lucas is going to be winning the Commonwealth Games gold medal at some point in her career. She's got that it factor. Charlotte Lucas, you're my hero. Great job out there today.
Now we are bumping back with Lawrence. Vivid Cycling, it looks like here. Harwood just a little ways behind the US of A. It looks like Lauren Stevens trying to chase this down. Here's a battle. Harwood's trying to hang on there. It looks like just behind Lawrence here. I'll bring this in here. Lawrence is leading things out 17 seconds up from a battle we can see behind. And they can see him up in the distance here, 17 seconds. That could be closed down, but they got to put out 6 watts per kilogram to make that happen. So I don't believe that's going to happen here. Now the battle's going to be between Harwood and Lawrence Stevens. Lawrence Stevens dropping Harwood off. It looks like a 2.7. Looks like his day is done. I think he was doing everything he could to hold off Lawrence Stevens, and then once was caught, it was like GG, game over. I'm going to just allow her to ride away because there's nothing left in the tank as Lauren hits those last 2 kicks that we keep talking about, and Lawrence just a little ways ahead coming across the line as well.
Dave Harwood would be intimately familiar with chasing around a female professional cyclist, as his wife, Brianne, rode for the DNA team for many years. Dave is, again, as I said at the start of the show, one of the really good guys out there, and a coach himself. So our 2 teams, Midwele and Vivid. Vivid really representing the West Coast, that San Luis Obispo crew, and then Midwele is a Salt Lake City-based team. Just a bunch of really cool folks. And I'm glad to see that Dave Harwood is in their orbit. As we're going to bring Stevens across the line, Lauren punches out. Let's see what Lauren with the 46:31 for the pride of Dallas, Texas today. And it looks like Dave just finished as well with the 46:33, our fast time at 35:25 from Matt Zimmer, the 16-year-old phenom, Nathan. Another rider in Wisconsin for you to worry about.
I definitely will be. I'll be watching out for him on the Strava KOMs. Recently, I think one of the teammates, or at least one of the kids that were quote unquote kids that were riding with, the next generation coming up with the that whole crew locally, took my Laughlin Peak KOM that I had been holding on to, I think, for 5 years. So definitely watching out for all these boys locally on Strava here. Now, if they start jumping on the mountain bike and taking my KOMs, then I'm really going to get serious. On the road, okay, fine. Go get taken on the road in a local road race. But now you start walking onto my dirt territory, we're going to have words, that's for sure. But we're looking at Crooks here now. She makes her way to the top here, 4.7 watts per kilogram. Sakari right on the wheel. This is going to be a battle to the line, it looks like. A little bit of fun being had here. Smart Honda trying to make something happen. Can he come across? 5.9 watts per kilogram kick just behind here. Will it be able to shut it down? It looks like it might be happening here. Crooks has got a kick now. 254. Is there going to be a sprint? It looks like it is, and I don't think there's anything left in the tank. It's right to the line. And it looks like Crook's not able to hold off the hard chase there coming in from C.A. Sakari. Solid little effort there. Diesel now, as you can see, making the way to the top. We've got top 15 already coming on through. Solid efforts all within under an hour. This cycling club has pulled some serious, I mean, these numbers are amazing.
Nathan, there's a rider named Diesel. That is the coolest name I've seen in a long, long time in this sport. That right there is noteworthy, that's for sure. And let's see what kind of times. Okay, so we're coming up on the 48-minute group right now. This is going to be so. I guess the Waterfords are the White brothers. Is that what we've identified here?
I'm assuming that's what's going on
we
here.
Think
that's
so.
What they were.
Yeah.
That's what they were in game before. So I believe Waterford.
Makes sense.
I'm assuming that they're riding Waterfords, and that's why. That would make a lot of sense. So.
I did notice we had Nikki Peterson with us out there tonight as well. Nikki is one of the top enduro riders, part of the Voler family. And I have a feeling that she's been staying up in Santa Rosa, California. We've had Larissa Connors out with us a few nights on Tuesday nights, and it's been an absolute blast. I have a ton of respect for Nikki Peterson, a journeywoman in the sport of cycling. As we take a look at that LHM cycling would be Larry H. Miller, our hosts at the Tour of Utah every year. We got Osler here bringing it home, Nathan.
Okay, so Timothy Rugg's correcting us. So maybe our sheet is incorrect here, but he's letting us know, guys, Matt Zimmer is not 16. He'd have the most incredible beard of a 16-year-old if he was. Thanks a lot, Timothy Rugg. Good to see you in the broadcast here, as always. We'll try and get the correct information. Maybe we can get an interview.
Fake news. Fake news.
Fake news coming on through here as well. But another little thing about Colin Patterson from Voler Factories Racing was 57 seconds short of Everesting world record on Saturday, it sounds like. So, whew! That is now in real life or V Everstein. We got to put the V in front of it if it's virtual, or was it an in real life effort? That because I have seen a lot of athletes out Everstein in the real world while social distancing over the last couple of months as well. I did see Team 2020 out doing that. So did Colin Patterson also do something alongside some of those other efforts we saw down in? Were they out on? In Arizona, I think on.
Well, that was 2020 on Mount Lemmon, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Colin was doing it. You're right. The V should be there for sure. Nathan, so when people talk about Everesting, for folks that aren't familiar, although most of our audience here would be, basically what you're doing is replicating the number of vertical feet, the vertical gain that you'd see going from sea level to the peak of Mount Everest, which I believe, you tell me if you know the exact numbers, about 28,500 feet.
Yeah, 8,000 meters, 28,000, 29,000 feet, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah. So a little under 30,000 feet, which, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, how many have we done here? So you would need to do this climb about 9 times.
Yeah. It's about,
okay.
Yeah, it's about 8 times. About 8 times. Yeah. So it's a big day.
Sounds fun,
saddle,
doesn't
it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think our friend Greg Henderson said that he spent about 12 hours doing it. Which, and as you noted a little earlier here, he basically hopped on Zwift one morning and then decided to do it as he was rolling, which is a very unique way. Most people would plan for many weeks ahead of time to get ready for. Oh, Colin's effort was in real life. Thanks, Brian. Brian Trapp has got his finger on the pulse of what's going on.
He got it on the pulse. That is for sure. Absolutely loving it as we see Ulster. I know Ulster. I know this name. LHM, I believe. From a crossover a little bit into the mountain bike world, I want to say here and there, but also
that
really
would
strong,
make sense.
Also very strong on the road. I remember him showing up and being like, wait, who's this guy and why is he so strong at some of the more point-to-point efforts? Maybe Iceman, if I'm right? Maybe. I'm not positive, though.
Oh, that would make sense. Osler, well, there's such a strong scene in Utah, both road and mountain. He'll stop the clock.
It might also have been Schwamagan. Schwamagan being such a big point-to-point race, for such a long time. Schwamagan 40 up in Hayward, Wisconsin. It would be another place where there'd be a lot of crossover coming from the road from the MTB. It's essentially a road race on dirt in some ways. So Waterford now making the way to the line as well.
A lot like Iceman, I would say. the kind of rider that would do well as we
Now, Iceman, though, okay, have you done Iceman? Iceman can get dirty, though, Dave. That one, that one is,
it's a tough time of year.
It's a tough time. It is, man. It turns into a cyclocross race sometimes, that's for sure.
Well, it's right in the heart of cross season. I mean, that's usually the first weekend in November that you would see Iceman. And you're absolutely right. Here we go, picking up Blake Anton. So we just learned that Blake Everested himself here, setting a nice tempo. Blake spends a tremendous amount of time on the bike, a super consistent rider. He's consistent on the bike, and he's consistent in the way that he manages the team, and just the kind of guy that you want at the helm, that's for sure. Blake does not like being passed, however. Not a big fan of having a Japanese person pass him, no.
Looks like having a little battle here to the top as he finishes out, but getting a couple of comments coming through. Rob White, thanks a lot. Appreciate you as well.
Thanks, Rob.
Says thanks, Dave and Nathan, for the commentary on the Voler events, of course, and we look forward to more like this in the future for sure. As we do have the Voler Factory, the KS women, Kenda women are coming to the line here, as well as Wadi Inc. Elite, it looks like. We'll see if we can get some of the chatter here coming through, waiting for maybe a few results between the teams. It does take, now here's the thing though, everybody, it does take some time. All of these results are going to be recorded on the efforts to the top. And then compared. There is no leaderboard. These are meetups, and we're using the meetup feature and the leaderboard, taking screenshots of that, and then, holding on to those in order to compare the team's time. So it takes time to calculate. You want to find the results, you're going to have to head on over to voler.com/Zwift, where all the events are listed, and Vivid Cycling as well as Medwele are handling that with Voler. So we're just here to cheer everybody on and highlight the efforts that are happening here on a Tuesday night racing series, though, for sure. And we'll get, if we can get any update. Obviously, Echelon walked away in a lot of ways with this one. And then just behind them, though, Sakari, who have been extremely strong week in and week out, I would think. I do think Team Tipco then maybe ended up with a third, but they're battling out with the Waterford boys there for sure.
So we saw that all of our Tipco SVB Silicon Valley Bank riders have finished well under 50 minutes per. This is going to be Marugel coming through, the Kenda women's. It's really nice to see Kenda continuing to support women's mountain bike racing as well. So Marugel stops the clock there. As we're going to bring Jen Malik home, the pride of the great state of Ohio. Jen, get up and over this part. And it's easy sailing. Actually, it never turns into easy sailing out here, but she's almost home.
We're just jumping in also with Lauren and the Team Tibco real quickly here. We are with another rider, but I just wanted to get a couple of words with them. Dave, you know these riders really, really well. Go ahead and take it away, and as we've watched a few of the other riders finish up here.
Well, ladies, we flipped the script on you. This is a surprise announcement, but we decided we're going to have you Everesting tonight. So that was your first trip up. We've got 8 more to go.
Well, right. I'll volunteer my Down Under teammates for that. It's like 9:30 here, so I'm going to pass.
All right, we'll turn it over to – that's why you have teammates, Lauren. That's right. Hey, ladies, again, thanks a lot for joining us. I'm going to ask I'll work through the room here. But, Charlotte, I saw you talking a couple weeks ago about Tulsa Tough. I was curious. You spent enough time in the United States. Have you decided what your favorite race is here? Is it Tulsa?
Let's see if we got Charlotte. I'm not sure. We may have Charlotte. Not everybody may have a mic, or maybe people can just
my
hear.
bad.
So, no, it's okay. It's okay. I believe Jen,
let me throw
Jen
that.
and Lauren have mics here.
Oh, perfect. Let me throw that to you, Lauren, first. Lauren, I know you've won Winston-Salem. I think you've done every race that matters in the United States. Have you found one that's a favorite or that you're looking forward to getting back to as soon as this COVID-19 disaster is over?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I have one favorite race, but you bring Winston-Salem up a lot, and that was a pretty exciting race back in, I think, 2017 when I won that. Yeah, I ride it often as my best memory of racing with my team.
Yeah, that's interesting. Janelle, how about you? Have you ever done Winston-Salem? I consider that the hardest one-day race in the United States that your teammate won. You weren't on the team at that point, But have you been to North Carolina?
No, I've never actually raced in America, and I was looking so forward to it. But with everything that's going on, that's kind of been put on a hold. So it's a little bit sad, but that's all right. Happens.
Yeah, I hear you. You guys down there, down under New Zealand, Australia, you've done such a good job with this. Can you talk about that feeling of, is there anything in your life that you've ever wanted more than to get back to racing your bike again? Like, was there a Christmas when you were 5 years old or something? Because I can only imagine this feeling, but I don't know if I can. Talk to me about that, how excited you are to actually race your bike again.
Yeah, I really want to, but it's quite a hard thought when you're watching TV and how dire some parts of the world are with the whole situation. And I mean, I want to see everything get better fast and everyone be happy and healthy, and then get back to pushing pedals as hard as we can.
I hear you.
For now,
agree.
just training really hard. Well, not hard.
Well, and has it been on Zwift getting to get? Sorry, Janelle, sorry to jump on you. Now, you ladies have been with us every Tuesday night that I've been here. Has it been good for you guys spiritually to be able to connect? I mean, the team being able to actually be a team, even though there isn't in real life racing, has it been at least a little bit of a reprieve?
I've
it's
looked
really
forward.
nice. Yeah, you go, Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, Tuesday nights, look forward to them, or I guess Wednesday midday for my teammates. But we actually get on Zwift like 45 minutes before the race and just like hang out and ride with each other. And, you know, probably more than the race, we look forward to that part because we're just connecting with each other, and it makes you feel like you're a team, and then finish it off with the racing.
I love that. Janelle, had you been Zwifting much before what happened here in the last few months? Are you new to Zwift, or was this something you're already doing?
Oh, I'm very new to Zwift. It's been so fun and a massive learning curve. I didn't realize how quite technical it is, and each race is sort of slowly trying to find my way in the whole Zwift world. And it's been like a fun, whole different element to racing, which is really cool.
It is really cool. Lauren, are you ready to take these ladies and go to battle with the 2020s? And, you know, I have a feeling, again, I don't know, but we're going to be doing this for at least a few more months. Let's get you guys in. I see you've got the in-game kit. Let's get you in some esport races and get Tibco on top of the podium, because you know I'm all about you guys. I know that when we get you racing as a team against the other esports teams, you're going to be kicking ass.
Yeah, we're looking forward to doing more of this Zwift racing and staying with this, you know, for as long as it's going on.
Yeah, and I would have to think that what we're learning here on Zwift, it's going to really pay off in real life, Janelle. You know, you're building the relationships, but are you learning about Lauren Stevens as an athlete as well?
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of things I already know. I know how strong she is. It's quite obvious, but yeah, it's nice that I can, because I'm new to the team, that I'm able to sort of build the relationship with the riders, even though we're all so far away from each other. And I think that's really important, staying together as a team and building that sort of bond and understanding of how each other race. Yeah, I think Zwift is quite a good tool.
I mean, as a whole team, we've been having more communication, I would say, during this time than we do normally, because like every week we're getting together with the entire team, like on a Zoom call, and like catching up with each other. We're normally only 5 or 6 of us are together at a time. We're spending a lot more time all together as a team, and that's been a neat experience.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in real quick on that point. It seems then that, you know, a positive that comes out of this situation then for the team is that you have this new tool that you can use regardless of the time of year, regardless of what's going on in the world as far as that goes. Because there's a reality that you aren't always together. You go to races and then do team camps, but then how are you connecting otherwise? It seems that this would be then something you could add to your toolkit for the team, it sounds like.
Yeah, I definitely see Zwift like carrying on within the professional teams post this situation, because like just like tonight that I'm on a race with a teammate in New Zealand and a teammate in Australia, and I'm in Dallas, Texas, and we're all racing together. That's something that we can't do without a platform like this.
Great, absolutely awesome. Charlotte, are you there? I just want to double check. Want to make sure we can get Charlotte in here if her app is bringing on through. Charlotte, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here now.
Here we go. I think Dave had a couple questions. Dave, you led with something there.
Well, hey, Charlotte, I remember meeting you at Tulsa Tough. We were talking about with your teammates about in real life racing as well. Is that the one you're going to miss the most that we had to cancel this year?
Yeah, we definitely miss Tulsa. It's such a good atmosphere there, and it's like so fun.
Yeah, talk to me about the first race that you ever did in the United States when you came over. It's always interesting when you hear about people's impressions of racing in the U.S.
So, I think we were racing on the East Coast at Winston-Salem, and I remember the heat, like it's really humid there, and I remember that quite vividly. It was really hard going, coming from winter in New Zealand to the middle of summer on the East Coast of the USA.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So where are you in New Zealand?
So I'm in Hokitika, which is the South Island. So we have New Zealand's basically two islands, north and south. So the South Island's the colder one, so that's where I am.
So, and I have to wonder, and it's a little more rugged, right? When you talk about the South Island, how is stuff like getting internet and all of that? It's not that remote.
Yeah,
you have restaurants, and yes.
Yeah, we have restaurants. The internet's not great, as you can probably tell.
Yeah. So, how about for you? We were talking with your teammates. Was Zwift something that you picked up because of the COVID-19 situation, or were you doing it before? I definitely remember you racing in real life, but not on Zwift.
Yeah, no, not really on Zwift. I do the odd training ride on Zwift, but I hadn't really discovered the racing until, we started racing this series pretty much. And there's so much to learn about it, like there's all different tactics. So it's been a really steep learning curve, but it's been quite fun.
Have you ever met Ella Harris? I'm going to guess that you have. Cycling is a tightly knit community. Ella Harris, for those that don't know, won the Zwift Academy and moved up into the World Tour. Is she a colleague of yours?
Yeah, I know her pretty well. She's also from the South Island.
And someone who did she give you any tips on Zwift before you jumped on, or were you on your own?
No, I hadn't really talked to her much about it, to be honest. I know she did really well and got a contract by racing it, and I follow her on it, and she does quite a lot of racing on Zwift.
Well, you found a contract without even having to race on Zwift, so I guess you're even one step ahead of her. Yeah. So, well, hey, it was awesome having you out here tonight. Janelle, Charlotte, who we're speaking with right now, and Lauren Stevens. Nathan, I'll throw it back to you, but you can see why I'm a big fan of the team. Just a bunch of well-spoken, classy women, and they are going to break some legs this year.
Yeah, appreciate it, ladies. Appreciate your time. Great job out there tonight, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
All right, so that was us hanging out with the Voler Tibco ladies and Tibco SVB ladies riding with the Voler event out here tonight. Thanks everybody for jumping in with us. It was a great series, and we will be back tomorrow for more stuff on Voler, as well as Vivid Cycling and Midwele. Make sure to check out voler.com/Zwift. I'm assuming, such a great success. I'm assuming we're going to see a lot more coming from them in the future when it comes to all Zwift stuff and ZCL. So, but for now, we will see you tomorrow at the USA Cycling League. USA Cycling League is happening every Wednesday, and that is presented by Indoor Specialist out on Zwift. So make sure to tune in for that. That is what's next up out on our broadcast. Dave, thanks a lot for hanging in there all day with us. It's been a long day of broadcasting, and lots of fun, though, to watch everybody and cheer them on.
Thanks, Nathan. Absolute blast. And big thank you to Brian Trapp and Voler for having us as well. Really appreciate it, guys.
100%. Thanks a lot, everybody out in chat, all the viewers, and we'll see you tomorrow. As always, everybody, right on.